whoops. We're going to be talking about mentorship and leadership development in Narcotics Anonymous. We have 3 individuals that have worked on this, and a couple more behind the scenes that are helping us with our slides. So Craig is going to be talking to you a little bit today from Maryland, and I'm Des from Wisconsin, and Shane from Kentucky is here with us. We may hear from him, but maybe not, and that's okay too. So we're just going to get, I guess, right into the presentation. Is that cool? All right. And Joanna is running our slides, so go ahead and give the next slide. Great. So what we're going to cover during this session is we have some readings from our literature. So every segment has a question. The first one is about leadership in NA. The second one is about mentorship in NA. And then the third one is about how to move forward. And every session has a couple of readings from the literature that apply to those individual sections, or to just help get our minds rolling and thinking of some things. I know for myself, I wanted to include, and I think the rest of us wanted to include as many of your voices as we could. And we have somebody who's going to be typing up your answers when we get to that point. On the screen, you'll be able to see what you're saying when we get through the questions. And we're going to go forward and work together, and then I guess we'll just send all this information and collaborate and keep using our voices together. I know for me, these 2 topics are highly valuable for my journey in Narcotics Anonymous. I've been clean since July 24th of 1995. I've always lived in the state of Wisconsin through my whole clean time. And I have done service here, and I also am involved with the zone, with the zone that I live in, which is the Midwest Zonal Forum of Narcotics Anonymous. And I'm also involved anywhere else I can help with NA. And the thing that has happened for me in my journey is there was a time when maybe the way that I was informed or told or encouraged didn't help me to move forward and do service graciously. And I had to learn and continue forward. So I just wanted to share a little bit of my journey, just because I think it's important that I'm able to normalize that every journey has a struggle, and my journey had a struggle, and I stayed clean and I kept doing service. Even when I didn't feel comfortable doing it, I just continued to do it. And even when I feel comfortable doing it, I make sure to, find the balance in my life. So, so I think we can go into the next slide. And these are going to be a couple of readings from our literature. We're going to do this every question. So one more slide, please. Okay, so these are just some readings that we grabbed out of our literature, and there might be more. You might have more, and that's cool. Send them our way. We really want to know how the literature affects everybody. The first one comes from the 12 Concepts for NA Service. For me, the 12 Concepts books was one of the first service books that were handed to me by somebody in my early recovery, and I'm so grateful for that, because that book has really given me courage. But this quote says, capable NA leadership exhibits a full range of personal characteristics associated with a spiritual awakening. And you could find more on that if you have a 12 concept book on page 9. And the next quote is out of It Works How and Why. And it says, our trusted servants lead us best when they lead by personal example. I think that speaks for itself. And our next quote that we have comes out of the Living Clean, The Journey Continues. And it's practicing and teaching principle-based service is both a way we carry the message and a way we receive the gifts that recovery has to offer. Service connects us to the fellowship and helps keep us connected and involved, even when we're not at the top of our game. And that quote speaks right to my heart. I have that on my desk because it means a lot to me, because even when I'm not at the top of my game, I'm still involved with NA. I mean, man, what a gift, right? And then the last quote is, leadership in a group, on a committee, or simply in performing a specific task is an honor, a privilege, and a form of service. We must understand and honor the limits of our role and the difference between service and government. If we confuse them, we are generally not confused for long. And that is out of our guiding principles, the spirit of our traditions. And then the next slide. And this is where the fun begins. This is where your involvement is. So what I'm going to ask is that Joanna, who's running our slides today, thank you so much, is going to play about 3 minutes of meditation music. And I just want everybody here to read this question: what has helped you the most in learning about leadership in NA service? And we'll leave that up. And after 3 minutes, we're going to open the floor. I think we agreed to 25 minutes for each of the first two questions. And no, whatever comment you want to make is fine. Try to tie it back to this question. That's fine too. And try to remember there might be other people who want to also share. So just take these 3 minutes and we'll just concentrate on that question. And Joanna, are you ready with the music? And then one more slide. Okay. So that takes us to where we're going to open the floor and allow some sharing from the floor. I mean, anything you offer is information that we would love to hear from you. So I'm not seeing any hands yet, but we have a slew of people to help us. And okay. And then Joanna, if you just want to stop, and then Irene's going to bring up her word so we just want to make sure transparency that we're allowing you to see that what you're saying is recorded. Perfect. Okay, our first hand I'm seeing is Mike. I'm going to unmute you. And there you go.
There you go. Hello, my name is Mike. I am an addict. So the first question is, what has helped you the most in learning about leadership in NA service? Correct?
That is correct. Yep.
I think, not putting people on pedestals. Like, I'll say this as somebody who was new coming in. I put other addicts who had more clean time and more experience with service. I put them on a pedestal, and that's, that I was just let down after, they left the program or they relapsed or something. Because like it kept me from not asking people because I was intimidated by that. And like, it made me feel like I didn't belong. But I'll also, over time, once I started, understanding service and like business meetings, like I realized that, you have to be honest, open-mindedness, the willingness, and I will say acceptance, because if you're in a group and there's a lot of people, you have to have, you have to be, willing to accept other people's ideas. The group is not called Magic Mike's Anonymous Fellowship. It's Narcotics Anonymous. It's about all of us in decision making and service and things that we do in our home group. If one addict is going rogue, if you will, it will affect everybody else. So I had to kind of rail myself in it sometimes, and I'm kind of more talking about like business meetings and stuff like that. But, service is a posture of the heart. And, as I became this year, the chair for activities in my area, I made a conscious decision that I wasn't going to, come in there, as a, be a bully about it, about anything. It's something that we all can, make decisions together, and because it's about unity. What is the question? What are some of the ways that mentorship and NA service has benefited you, and how do you mentor others?
We're not to that question yet. Irene, you might want to move that off the screen. Just answer
Well,
the question. So we'll move on to the next person, Mike, if that's cool.
Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna do.
Thanks,
Thank you.
brother. Okay, next we have Carl from Wisconsin. You ready?
Hello, people. Oh shoot. All right. What was the first question I had learned? What was the help you most in learning about leadership? For me, I look at teachers. I always did when I was a kid. Helping me with LD and all that, and it's the same similar thing. The leaders here gave me the courage to speak, even with sponsors. And I learned at with my sponsors that about service, giving hugs to people coming into the meetings. That was one of my first service. And now I have a good mentor, my sponsor now, learning how to be a PR chair. I looked up as him when he was doing PR week, when he was doing PR. To me, he was making it easier, and I can do that. Well, I didn't know as much computer skills that he had. It's totally different now because of the kind of, COVID. We're planning on doing service work through PR, and I was enjoying it until that COVID. And I want to do PR week and all that, but the leadership from them is that one day we will do that, and not, the leaders for me is just everybody in NA and the mentors, the people before me, show me how to care and show me how you can do it. Look what you have done 2 weeks ago, on the computer, and look at you now, and I need that. I need that. I don't want to. I don't know. I want to swear, but I don't know. But I need my butt kicked. Sometimes saying that I'm doing good. I don't look at it that way. So I need that leadership, that mentors. All that good stuff that NA gave me. I'm trying to give back as much as I can. I'm doing my own leadership, you could say, for me, that our meetings are maybe around the world, that I'm giving, nobody was getting key tags. So I started being a leader for our groups in NA in Wisconsin. I've been going to different states too, also. And it's costly, but I mean, it's better than being in the jail, I look at, or having a record, sending them key tags. Get the key tags through person in here in our, in world, and I started that journey. Boy, I didn't know it was going to be 9 months later, you know what I mean? But I'm enjoying it. I feel like it's helping them come back to meetings. I mean, that's what happened to me when I first got my key tag. I wanted to get my first hug from thousands of people, it seemed like, in one meeting. So that was kind of like leadership I look at, watching others do service work. As I know for a while, learn teaching us how to do CAT, and other things. And it's just her leadership, giving to me about pamphlets about mental illness. I didn't know it was, that my mental illness. I didn't know that it was through I did, and, by drugs, and boy, it changed me when she gave me the booklets. And now I got the IP. Um, I can be a leader with that, with mental illness. I hope, I would love to chair meetings about that stuff, and it's great, getting pushed to be a speaker, pushing me to uh, one day be a sponsor. I got to do this, more stuff, but it's just a lot of stuff. I look at people have, it's like entitlement. I don't know. People have a mom, a dad, uncle. That's what I look at. Teacher. I don't want an MD or whatever them big awards have. I want the free PR. GSR. Them kind of things. And I love it. I love it. But man, technology is not my game. But I'm not quitting. I would have quit a long time ago if I didn't start it. So that's what leadership to me is: service, NA service. Mentor. If I get a phone call from somebody who wants some talk, and I'm there, man. I'm there. I had a couple of people, so that's a start. So that's where I'm at. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Carl. Thanks for your share. The next person that I'm showing is Bess Lynn, and we have about 16 more minutes left to take answers to this. So just be mindful of the other people behind you. I'm going to unmute you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Bess Lynn. I'm a alcoholic drug addict coming at you from Western Massachusetts. I've been sober. My sober date's on the screen. I've been sober since the 10th of July in 2019. So I've got a little time. I mostly had been doing Alcoholics Anonymous, and then I just got into Narcotics Anonymous right as soon as the pandemic hit. So I've never been to a local NA meeting. But I would say that, this is an amazing topic, and I'm really thankful that I'm here because I just got a job in a 90-day rehab for men. So, and I'm nervous about it. So I'm thankful that I'm here to learn more about what I can do as a leader to help other men that I'm supporting in my job continues with their sobriety, and for me too. So I would say what has helped me the most about learning about leadership and NA service is just listening to an addict describe their experience, no matter if they've got 90 days or 90 years, it doesn't matter to me. Everybody who has joined the program has something to say, and I'm just excited to be listening to people about their experience and never judging anybody about what they've gone through. Because Lord knows I've done some crazy shit when I was drinking and using drugs. So I'm not gonna, I think being non-judgmental and listening for me has been, the leaders that I admire in the program have done that, and I've learned from them. So that's what I have to say about that topic. So thanks. I don't want to take up too much time.
Awesome. Thank you for answering the question for us. That was amazing. Next in our queue is Carlos. There you go. You can unmute.
Hi, I'm Carlos. I'm an addict. When Mike said that about the pedestal, I just raised my hand because I think not trying to step up on a pedestal is something that helped me. I was never very popular in service. I'm very grumpy sometimes, kind of having a hard time not being aggressive when I disagree. Well, not anymore, but I used to be. So what helped me was including other people and making people feel they have a value in service, that everybody knows how to do something and there are things to be done. And the funny thing is it works. And for some years now, I have been tapped on the back. Oh, what a nice service you've been doing. And I say, no, wait. I'm just putting these principles in practice. It's not me. I'm just saying, these are things that need to do. You guys can do it also. Let's get together. Let's do it. And it's so funny how it works, how screwed my head is, how turned the opposite way my mind is, and when I do different, it works. So that's what I got. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you so much, Carlos. And Dennis is next.
Ag named Dennis. And actually, Carlos touched on it just a little bit. One of the things that was really important to me was being around leaders who asked for help even when they didn't need it. I didn't realize until later that sometimes that I was asked for help, that the person asking for help knew full well that the job was going to get done. They didn't need my help, but they saw greater value in including me and asking me to do something and then supporting me in doing it than just getting the job done quickly and efficiently. A leader is someone who sees the value in asking others for help. And like was said in the previous slides, that the evidence of a spiritual awakening, we struggle to ask for help when we do need help. It's a really powerful thing for someone to ask for help when they don't need help, just for the value of that. So like my first sponsor asked me to help out setting up a home group one night. That ended up being my home group for 11 years that I did set up for most of that time. He asked me, hey, you want to go check out this area meeting? Sure. Could you take notes or BGSR for, okay, well, how do I sit next to me? I'll help you. Cool. I was at area for 12 or 13 years consecutively from that. He asked me, hey, you want to go check out this region? I'm going to be nominated for PI. Sure. I got asked to take notes at that region, and I've been in Northern New York region ever since, and that was 14 years ago. Actually, the current RD, because I like these things, we learn by example, and I love, like, one of the most important things is that's helped me with leadership is leaders that lead by example, and then they show me what to look for in other leaders because once I get it, like that whole attraction, service being attractive and leadership being attractive, like I start recognizing what is attractive and I start looking for that in others so I can latch onto that leadership and latch on to learning from those other leaders, even when they're not trying to teach me. They're just naturally, that's how they are. So like the current RD has said, or he'll tell in his story sometimes that he ended up at Region because I asked him, hey, you want to go to a meeting? I didn't even tell him it was Region. I just said, hey, you want to go to a meeting? He thought he was hopping in the car with me to go to a recovery meeting. And I said, there, he said, sure. And we ended up at Region, and same thing happened. He ended up regional secretary, and now he's our RD. It's just those little things of asking people to come along, asking people for help when we don't need, when the job will get done, when if I did something myself, it'd be done quicker, more efficiently, whatever. But asking someone, hey, could you help me with this? Hey, do you think you could do this? You don't know how, well, here's how this is done, or how I understand it's done. Here you go. If you need any more help, just those little things. So leading by example and the humility of asking for help when we don't need it, just because that is more valuable. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Dennis. Next person up is Chris.
I'm an addict. My name is Chris. Some of the most beneficial and helpful things that have helped me learn about service has really come through sponsorship. I've been very fortunate to have sponsors that were very involved in service. Like my current sponsor, when I met him rather, and we started talking, I had no idea of his service background. But at that time, I was interested in becoming a delegate for my region, and it happened that my sponsor that I just asked was a delegate in 2 different regions, and he was on the HRP. So like he had all this experience doing service that I had never done, and he didn't tell me what to do, but he guided me to the traditions and the concepts, and he just shared his experience with me. And that was so valuable to hear someone that's done this job share their experience. And it wasn't always like, this is what you do, but sometimes it was like, this is what I did, and this was a bad idea for this reason. So that was like also very important. The other thing is, it's like still to this day, like what I do personally to learn more about leadership is I watch other people. I read a lot of different reports and committee minutes because I want to see how people present the information, and that has been like really helping me just write my own reports by watching how other people do that and what works and what doesn't work. But that's what a lot of it comes down to for me, was with sponsorship and then actual experience working with good leaders. That's all.
Thank you so much, Chris. Appreciate your service too, brother. Amy is our next person up.
Hey everyone, I'm an addict. My name is Amy. Hi. I'm just reading back through the notes because I don't want to repeat anything that has already been said. Okay, I think I can share some other experiences. So one of the things that I admired the most in leadership is inclusiveness, specifically from whomever is the chair or facilitator of whatever it may be, whether it's a workshop or a committee, service body, even a secretary, how they include people and members within that room or that meeting or whatever it may be, and patience, especially in service when it's something new, when you have a new person joining in on whatever service body that may be, extending kindness and patience to them as they're learning, if they don't have any prior experience. And when I, especially going back to that inclusiveness, I really find what to be valuable is speaking less and listening more. Again, especially from a facilitator, chair, lead, like whatever. Like hearing more of the input from others. And if there is a voice or a person that hasn't spoken up yet, like asking those people for their input. If they have anything to add, if they have a different perspective, always, especially if a room is full of the same almost consensus, still making sure that there isn't any opposition, or there isn't any minority voices that need to shed light on something that, or share a different perspective that may have been missed. So I think that's all that's different from what has already been discussed. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amy. Next up, we are going to hear from Louis. There you go. Now you should be able to unmute. Great.
There we go. I'm Louis. I'm an addict, and I really like what I've heard so far, and everyone has taken my ideas, except working steps 6, 7, 8, and 9. 6 and 7 really allowing me to see my character defects in action, and 8 and 9 understanding how a healthy relationship is. And and it taught me not to be judgmental. It taught me to listen. It taught me to be patient. It taught me so many things. And so, yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then all the others, of course, are helpful, but.
Thank you, Louis. Appreciate you jumping in. And Claudia.
Hi, I'm Claudia. I'm a grateful recovering addict. First of all, Dennis, I love your sponsor, even so I've never met him, but that's how it's supposed to be done. I love that. No, there's lots of, like everything was mentioned, listening, watching, of course, working the steps. And what I've learned is like not just listening, it's like watching, watching their talk, same as in watching them live the NA way. And what really helped me this year, I was really because of this pandemic, I was able to attend a lot of service region and areas, and just the service meetings. And I learned a lot from that, how not to be sometimes. I think that's a good point. And also what I've done this year, it's actually worked all 12 tradition. I put myself on a tradition a month, and I got a much better understanding of all their service commitments and how it affects the groups and everything else. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And this is perfect. We have enough time for one more share, and we have one more hand. So go ahead, Katie.
Hi, addict named Katie. Hi guys. What has helped me the most in learning about leadership in NA service? The first would be that participating in NA service and showing up for NA service would probably be the first step in how I learned about NA leadership. And then also just stepping into a role of leadership in NA, like doing, like if somebody asked me to be a part of a work group, like saying yes to doing that, and kind of understanding that everybody in NA can be a leader, and that we are all capable of being and learning and growing into leaders in NA, and like not being scared to do that. I think for me, being newer in service, it can be very daunting and very overwhelming listening to people with decades of clean time talk about their service resume and history and all of that other wonderful stuff. But understanding that like this, just like any other piece of recovery, takes practice, and not being scared, and also understanding that nobody here, there's like somebody else mentioned, like there's no pedestals around here, and like practicing humility and asking a lot of questions and talking to more experienced members, I think have been the most, but just keep coming back to service stuff, like coming back and participating in different service things is the way that I have learned everything that I know about NA service or leadership in NA service too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Katie, and everybody else who shared. Thanks for taking those moments to be vulnerable and sharing your answers with us. That's brilliant.